guys, and welcome back to The Antidote, the cannabis cooking show that makes medicating delicious. Today I'm going to be making a Cajun comfort food favorite, and that's shrimp and grits. To make this recipe, we're going to need 3 cups of water, 2 cups of half and half, 1 cup of chicken broth, a 1/4 cup of lemon juice, 1 cup of grits, 1 cup of chopped onions. Now you can use whatever onions you like. You can use, white, yellow, red. Today I'm going to be using green just because I like the pop of color and also the flavor. 1 teaspoon of minced garlic, a 1/4 cup of flour, 2 teaspoons of Worcestershire sauce, 2 pounds of shrimp that are peeled and deveined, 1 cup of cheddar cheese, 3 bell peppers, 5 strips of bacon, 1 pound of andouille sausage. And to medicate this recipe, I'll be using a 1/4 cup or half a stick of cannabis butter. And if you're new to cannabis cooking and you've never made cannabis butter, you're like, what do I do? You can pop down into the description box and check out my Cannabis Cooking 101 class. I would love to have you in there, and then join the private Facebook group for the students so that you guys can chat and share recipes about what it is that you make. All right, guys, let's get started. So the first step is to bring the water and grits to boil. Once your grits are boiling, we're going to let them simmer on low for about 15 or 20 minutes. Now, while our grits are cooking, we're going to go ahead and season up the shrimp. So we're going to cover it in the lemon juice and then season with a bit of salt and pepper. I also like to use a dash of cayenne pepper, because it really wouldn't be Cajun if it didn't have a little bit of kick. So now I'll just set the shrimp aside for a bit while I get the andouille sausage and the other things ready. So now I'm going to go ahead and slice up the andouille sausage. Now I like to do it lengthwise and then slice it the short way. Okay, now the andouille is all sliced up. We're going to add it to the frying pan over medium heat for about 5 minutes. So now I've coarsely chopped up the bacon, and I'm going to add it to the same pan that the andouille was in. We're going to cook this on medium-high heat for about 10 minutes. Now while the bacon is cooking, I'm going to go ahead and dice up our bell peppers. Now a neat little trick for dicing bell peppers without getting all those seeds all over your cutting board or into your food is you actually cut behind what is called the hump, right? So this area here, these bumps, slice right behind the peak of that hump, and then you'll just get the flesh of the pepper and no seeds. I'll show you. Super easy. No seeds. They're all still intact. Now I'm just going to take each of our little pepper slices and cut them into sticks. Cutting them into sticks actually helps cut them into those small diced pieces when it's time to do that part. Now I'm going to take these beautiful bell peppers, our garlic and onions, and cook them for 8 minutes in our bacon fat. After 3 minutes of cooking, I'm now going to add the shrimp for the remaining 5 minutes into the vegetables. And for the last minute of cooking, I'm going to go ahead and add back the andouille sausage. Now that we're done, we're going to go ahead and remove this from the heat so that I can go ahead and make the sauce. Now to make the sauce, I'm going to make a roux of the cannabis butter and the 1/4 cup of flour. We're going to let those two cook together for about 8 minutes until it makes a little bit of a paste. After a couple of minutes, the butter and flour will be well blended, and then we'll go ahead and add the chicken broth for the remainder of those 8 minutes. Now my sauce actually is perfectly thickened after about only 5 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and remove it from the heat so that I can add it to our shrimp and andouille and vegetable mixture. So over medium heat, now I'm going to go ahead and just stir in that roux and the Worcestershire, and then we're going to add the bacon. Now right before moving on to the cheese grits, I'm going to add 1½ cups of the 2 cups of half and half directly to our shrimp and sausage mixture. Now for the grits, I'm going to go ahead and add the last ½ cup to the grits to make them nice and smooth and creamy. Now I actually decided to add another 1/4 cup of milk just because the grits were a little bit thicker than I like. So just to make them nice and smooth and creamy, I decided to add another 1/4 cup of milk, but that's totally optional. Now that the grits are the consistency that I like, I'm going to go ahead and add the cup of cheese and then some salt and pepper to taste. Once the cheese is completely melted into the grits, we're all done. Now it's time to plate our delicious shrimp and grits. So I've already got our cheese grits in the bowl. So I'm just going to take this ladle just because it's neater. Ooh, that looks good. And just scoop it right on top of our delicious cheese grits. Now this is kind of a long recipe and it has a lot of ingredients, but it's totally worth it. So now it's time for my favorite part as usual. It's the taste. This particular recipe is about 29 milligrams of THC per serving. I estimate about 6 servings. So just kind of, you know, adjust up or down if you feed 8 people or 4 people or something like that. So let's dig in and see what's happening in here. Get a little bit of that andouille. Oh wow, that is so, I don't want to cuss. That is so good. Wow. Yep, I'm gonna be taking a nap after this one. Alright guys, well that's a wrap on this Cajun comfort food classic. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments if you tried this recipe and what recipes you guys want me to try that are your favorite comfort foods. I'll see y'all next week on The Antidote. Bye!